to the Game Professors podcast, where the students have taken over and we profess our love and hate for all things video games. The lecture lowdown for today is we're going to be getting into the bulletin board where Rockstar has some explosive developments going on. We have a Highguard update, Epic Games Store spikes some Steam sales, Cory in the house, one of the greatest games of all time, and a newer world will be coming to an end. In Civics and Sociology, we discuss Jeff Bezos is unsurprisingly on team "You will own nothing and like it," as well as GeForce getting some limitations. And then I believe we also have a little bit of a discussion about some TOS from Heru as well. Then we'll get into Asus causing some panic as they mention GPUs going end of life in business and econ. In shop class, we get burned with some AMD X3D CPUs. We find a new way to beat a dead horse in lab work as Capcom gives us the new tools to complain about Monster Hunter Wilds. And finally, we'll end today by taking a respectful look at the careers of Bowser and a Sega industry legend as one stepped down and the other passed away. But before that, I know Heru had something to mention.
Absolutely. So, we obviously put out shorts. If you've seen them and you've watched our stuff, hopefully you've enjoyed it. However, for those who have not, or those who want to complain about the content, understand that some people will absolutely round up when it comes to talking about amounts of time. If I'm talking 36 hours, I'm usually just going to say 2 days. And if I'm talking 6 weeks, I'm generally just going to say 2 months.
Yeah, and don't worry if you're thinking that's a leap. Heru has a hard time judging periods of time, which we'll get into later.
That is fair. But
yeah, I mean it's fair.
I'd like to explain a bit of why 2 months was at the forefront of my brain. The reason why is because for me, World of Warcraft doesn't really start until Raid releases. Raid doesn't release until March 17th. And it came out, pre-patch came out on January 20th. So for me, it's 2 months of pre-patch. Granted,
I get it.
Like 3 days of that is going to be leveling for me, but woo.
So you're talking about when it's all said and done, you're basically 2 months in.
Yeah, exactly. By the time that I get to the part of the game that I actually want to play, it's 2 months.
I mean, that's fair. I can see where you got from. I mean, none of us live in your brain, so sometimes you need to,
fair.
Make the internal external, but I see where you got to 2 months now.
I need everybody that listens, as well as you, especially you, though. I need you to be able to read my mind. I mean, it's been how many years, Plague? Did you figure it out?
1 or 2.
1 or 2. This guy. Anyways.
Well, we'll get back into your frame of reference for time later, but we'll get into the GTA development team, aka Rockstar, gets a little too close to their craft as they had an explosion incident in their offices. And this is the primary development team on GTA 6. So this is not some tertiary team. There was a localized explosion and then subsequent fire at Rockstar North, which is in Edinburgh, Scotland, on Monday, January 19th, around 5:02 a.m. The cause was a malfunction in the basement heating boiler. The Scottish Fire and Rescue dispatched 7 different units, and the police cordoned off the Holly Road nearby. They're thankfully good news for, actual human being concern and game development concern. There were absolutely 0 casualties, and no one was actually injured, and all development floors and data systems were unaffected.
This is the second week in a row you've made the explosive news pun. I just want you to know.
I mean, just call it a secondary explosion.
Oh my lord. I can't with him, guys.
You can, and you will. So, Oh man. But the studio did officially confirm that they were open and operational later that same day. Thanked all emergency services involved. All staff are well.
Yeah, they're in crunch time. They gotta go.
Oh man, did you take some shrapnel? Yeah, somebody call the doc. Okay, no, don't get up from your desk. You stay there working. We'll bring him to you.
Don't stop coding. Keep going.
don't stop. You gotta keep going. And if you have to go to the hospital, you take that laptop.
Oh man.
Oh jeez. You don't get paid for the ride either. So.
We're not paying for it either.
Oh man. All right, and a follow-up to the Highguard Game Awards appearance that I hinted at, or that we just in general ended up complaining about last week. They didn't actually pay for it.
What?
So, yeah. So, despite the speculation, and now keep in mind the number that we threw out was the number that generally those spots for that length of time would cost. However, the speculation is that Jeff Keighley reportedly offered the slot to the studio for free because he liked the game and wanted to spotlight the project. So, now, there is some side speculation that somebody actually dropped out, which, would make his statement make sense, because you're not going to reveal a project that you know about to say, hey, this is why we gave it to somebody else for free, because X coming up project dropped out. So I would say both things are probably true, where somebody dropped out, they had to fill a slot, he probably had this game on the back burner, was like, yeah, hey, you guys are up, it looks interesting enough, we're gonna put you in this slot, would be my guess.
Interesting. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, because realistically, there's no way in hell you just give up, what was that, $1 million something or other?
Yeah.
There's no way you just give up that amount of money as a business, right?
Well, I mean, if you're big enough, sure, like the EAs and stuff, but for these guys to come out of nowhere, and we're potentially 5 days away from when the game is supposed to release, and I haven't seen anything about it being delayed as of yet. I might have missed something, but it would make a lot more sense that they just came to these developers and was like, hey, we need to put your stuff on a slot. You kind of submitted it. We're going to put you up. Okay, great. For free. Because there's no way I could see a smaller development team doesn't look like they're necessarily close to releasing, dropping $1 million.
Right. Well, exactly. And that's kind of my point. Not necessarily that development team would be willing to drop $1 million, because I don't think they would be, but I also don't think that the Game Awards as a business, right, would just not take $1 million. So chances are, my thought process, so my thought process is that somebody already paid for that slot, and because they had to cancel last minute, they don't get to take their money back.
That's
right?
true. Yeah,
it's probably in contract.
There's got to be a cancellational time frame contract. Yeah.
Exactly. So then they just had to scramble and get somebody else out there.
What you are saying right now makes the most sense out of anything I've seen people comment about this. So I would 100% bet you're right.
Now, I didn't watch the Game Awards, and we've been over why. But did GTA 6 have a video?
I don't remember, because they've been releasing stuff independently, but I don't think they have to pay for anything. So I don't remember it being in there. Everyone's kind of already hyped about it anyways.
That's fair. There's no point in doing more marketing.
Yeah. Plus, they don't need to compete. Put out a GTA trailer, everyone's going to see it anyways.
True.
But if we're wrong, feel free to let us know, either in the comment section or by email. Alrighty. Well, that's your update for that. This is one of my favorite things that I saw this week, because we had just talked about games for free last week on the Epic Games Store. So, Epic Games' free game program legitimately causes games to sell better on Steam. Yes, that is correct. A game being offered for free on the Epic Game Store increases the sales at the exact same time. Not later, not at a different time frame. At the exact same time that the game is being offered for free, increases the sales on Steam. So, where this comes from is a game called Blood West, which is a very, very highly rated, apparently immersive sim game that was part of Epic's 15 days of free games holiday promotion. And the CEO came out and said that the stealth horror game saw a 200% sales surge on Steam the exact day it was offered for free on the Epic Games Store. So apparently developers can make money by allowing Epic Games to pay for them to give away their game for free as long as they still have it up on Steam, because people would much rather pay for it to own it on Steam than to have it for free on Epic.
Well, especially if it's Steam Deck verified, which it is.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not wrong. It just, I mean, you could use the Epic Game Store in the Steam Deck.
I mean, sure, but probably isn't that great. This has some deep Morrowind vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I mean, it looks somewhat
Elder Scrolls
interesting.
Morrowind. It has like the same level of graphics too.
Which
is not a bad
an
thing.
indie game. It is an indie game.
It's not a bad thing by any stretch. I mean, those graphics weren't terrible, and they definitely have a bit of words are hard. Character. That's the word.
True.
They have a bit of character for choosing that kind of style, so I can't complain.
I mean, I think it's fun. I think whatever helps indie developers succeed, especially one that's clearly making a good enough game that's got a positive rating on Steam.
Yeah.
So to all those developers out there, if your game's been out for a couple of years and Epic offers you money to be a part of a free game promotion, take it and make sure your game is also available on Steam at the same time, maybe on somewhat of a discount. And you'll make money.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
All right.
Mean, they had positive with 3,200. That's only English reviews, granted, but there is like a rumor out there that only 33% of purchases actually review. So theoretically,
that would
that's
seem high to me, but
right. That's kind of my point, though. Like that's probably at the high end for sure.
Sure.
Except for maybe like a really popular game that also is really terrible. Then it probably jumps up. But I mean, that's still like 9,000 players, if not more.
Pretty good for an indie game. Yeah. Especially if you're buying this game, let's just say it's 50% off at $12. That's still pretty dang good.
It's kind of a steal.
Now, I have to ask you,
Uh-huh.
Did you see any of the fervor around one of the greatest games of all time this last week?
No.
Okay, so anyone that doesn't know, apparently Cory in the House, which is a Nintendo DS game from 2008, which is a tie-in game, which is a tie-in for the Disney Channel TV show That's So Raven. I mean, it's a spinoff, not even like a full TV show tie-in. Has been, over the years, the subject of rating manipulation as the internet comes together to do silly things. And this last week, it popped its head up again. FYI, this game originally, when it came out, was given a 3 out of 10. So keep that in mind as we kind of move forward here. So between 2007 and 2013, the game kind of got a cult status as 4chan memed it and mocked anime elitists by labeling it as one of the greatest anime of all time. And at that time in 2013, there was a coordinated push on Metacritic to flood the site with 10 out of 10 reviews, briefly giving it a 9.7 user rating, which I believe was eventually reset. But that's very high. Well, it happened again recently over the last week as people tried to again push it over Claire Obscure. And I checked this morning. It currently still sits at that 9.3 user score.
Jeez.
Which puts it like, I don't know. It's like the number 2 spot of recent stuff but like overall that still puts it in like the top 150 games of all time.
Yeah.
Which is obnoxious and ridiculous. The memes went so far that even the eBay prices for the game went from $7 up to $100 or $600 due to the online push and momentum. Oh man, even places like GameStop and our Wall Street Bets started talking about it and pumping up the numbers. GameStop I believe I saw, it probably was a joke, but still regardless, readjusted the price of all their used copies for Cory in the house.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, and I love the internet sometimes. You know, something dumb and everybody comes together to contribute. So,
yeah.
With a 9.3, I feel like you should make sure to give this a go this year. so that you can tell us if it stands up to that 9.3 user score.
Yeah, the last what is this? 18 years? Math is hard. Yeah, 18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 18 years, not worth giving it a try. Now though, worth it.
It's clearly aged like a fine wine.
Oh man. No. Just no.
Alrighty. Well,
but if you do, let us know. But if you do,
you know
let
what?
us know.
Please, if somebody out there has actually played this game and you have any sort of personality and you want to be on the next episode, you reach out and I will talk to you about Cory in the House on the next episode. And you can tell us how amazing it is. Alrighty. Well, we're going to get into the final bulletin board piece for today, and that is... And what is this? New World...
Eternum.
Eternum. New World Eternum is actually shutting down January 31st of next year. As of January 15th, so a week ago, Amazon removed all digital storefront purchases, although owners of the game can obviously still play. All monetization and microtransactions were also ceased as of yesterday, and this will come out the 22nd, so 2 days previously by the time this comes out. Any thoughts on that? You know,
I mean, so damn many. So I played New World quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we've chatted about it a couple of times.
I played New World when it originally released quite a bit. And it's an interesting take on the idea of a mixed sandbox theme park MMO, right? So there was intended content, like content on rails in the game, but the end game was largely like sandboxy. The problem with a lot of sandbox MMOs nowadays is that they just generally don't have staying power. Because the thing that people are looking for is the new stuff, right? They want to experience new things. That's why I read 100 books last year, right? Just as an example. I wanted to experience new things. And it's the reason that World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV have continued to be the top MMOs, because they're constantly coming out with new expansions. They're constantly coming out with
Plus
new
the social
patches.
community that exists.
Plus the social community, yes. But New World and other sandbox MMOs like it have a consistent problem where they really only cater to the people who like RP servers. And I don't say that in a demeaning way or anything like that, because I love RP servers. I enjoy my time on them, but I never stick around.
I mean, one of the things I enjoyed for a while was watching the GTA RP servers. Those were hilarious.
The problem with a lot of those servers is they tend to be very slow burn. It's slow, methodical buildup into a climax, right? Mm-hmm. And the issue with that in an MMO is that depending on when that climax hits, you might miss it.
That's fair.
So all of a sudden you participated in this long, slow burn and build up to get a reward, and then that reward was just never given to you, and now you're thrown into the next slow burn phase.
That's a bummer.
So that's kind of the issue, right? And I think ultimately Ashes of Creation will have a similar problem unless they kind of transition a little bit more into the theme park aspect. But who knows?
I mean, to be fair, I think we've discussed the numbers for both in a previous course. But I mean, I feel like this was pretty obvious to everybody that this was going to eventually happen as active users dropped by late 2025 to like an average of 1,500 people in January.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it was definitely on the wall. The writing was on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. The game just had so many balance problems from the very beginning. And I'm not even talking balance problems between classes. I'm talking balance problems between communities. Like, it was supposed to be a 3-faction system, but you also let people switch factions willy-nilly. Yeah. And there wasn't like, hey, there are too many people in this faction on this realm, you can't join this, right? There was none of that like hard force. So especially the streamer servers were really bad because the streamer picked, a faction, and then every one of their viewers just flocked to it, and they could never lose anything. Which also nullified the PvP entirely because there's no PvP now.
Well, interesting that you do mention a bit of PvP.
No?
Because Face Punch Studios, famously of Rust, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, being the survival game famous for, or one of the famous memes about naked people always constantly dying as they respawn. Alistair McFarland actually put out a public $25 million offer to buy the IP. Now,
I think that the Amazon overlords will think that number is too low.
I think 25 million is more than nothing.
True. You're not wrong. But that actually kind of leads into my point even further. Rust is one of those slow burn games.
Yeah.
So basically, I think the idea here is they want to purchase that and then be able to just use all of its stuff.
Now, here's the interesting part. This is what I actually think is interesting. So his bid, and by the way, this was a very public, I'm putting this out here that I'm offering, a la Elon Musk buying Twitter style, where it's like, I'm putting this out here, I'll buy it. But as we saw with Twitter, maybe it's real. Who knows anymore? But this wasn't in any way like an official, my lawyers have called your lawyers and made an offer type bid.
Right.
But his philosophy around this purchase is that they would empower the community by making the game's server code fully public, and allow for player-hosted servers to ensure the game's playability indefinitely.
Which is exactly what I think basically every company should do. But, I mean,
I find this super interesting because if they make that game server code fully public and people can mod the game however they want, because it doesn't really seem like Face Punch Studios would necessarily be like policing the game heavily if they're kind of just being like, yeah, everyone have fun with it, do what you want.
Here's our $25 million charity.
Yeah. I wonder if you could, because the tools are there for people to mess with, if you could get a like Half-Life situation from back in the day where people take all the modding tools that were available for Half-Life, which eventually created Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2, Gary's Mod, and a few other things. And if you could get some people that actually make something super interesting and creative that eventually becomes its own full thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dota
Yeah.
is a great example of exactly that, and more in my realm than yours.
I mean, fair. But that would be interesting. I'd love for that to happen. But to your point, I think Amazon, like any large company, likes to hoard all their toys and not let anyone touch their ball.
If they sell it, how can they re-release it in 5 years and make everybody pay for it again?
Or release something completely unrelated but under the same name because it has the name recognition, so people get super excited about it and then disappointed when the game comes out because it's nothing like the original.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that too. Unfortunate.
All right, well, with that sad eventuality on the horizon, let's move into civics and sociology. All right, everybody, circle up as we take a look at some of the aspects in the gaming community and some of the institutions at work. We're going to begin with, speaking of Amazon, Jeff Bezos doesn't want you to own your PC. You like that gaming PC along with the other hundreds of millions of people that own their gaming PCs on Steam? Nah. Jeff Bezos ain't about that life. He wants you on the streaming subscription service to, I am sure, Amazon. Oh my god, I absolutely hate the future.
Same. I mean,
so
there's not a lot of ways to fix this. There's really only one way, and it's from the largest institution in the world. Or in the country.
I mean, fair. I mean, the other side of this, too, is talk with your money, right? There's a reason that Game Pass is supposedly losing money and struggling, and other services haven't taken off like Game Busters. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons, but it's one of the, clientele. If they had a bunch of clientele, then we wouldn't even be talking about this. There'd always be a big player in the market. So, to give you the kind of the full breakdown, he basically had done an interview and discussion where he talked about how he compared modern local PCs to early 20th century hotels that had their own power generators because the grid wasn't developed at that time. And once the hotels eventually were able to plug into the grid without overwhelming it, then they obviously stopped needing their own power generators. And so he's comparing people's own local home computing power to that philosophy of once we get the data centers big enough and up and running to handle all the clientele, then people don't need to buy all their PCs, and then they can just pay us a monthly subscription for us to run their games for them.
No.
I feel like there's a lot of problems with that we'll get into.
Oh, yeah. But first off, just no. Right? Like, I don't really need to say anything else beyond that. Like, just no. But also, to his point, since he wants to compare our computers to early 20th century hotels that had their own generators, if we want to stick with the power thought process, there are a ton of people who want off the power grid.
Yeah, there are.
So
And almost every large business has their own backup generators.
yep.
I mean, because you don't want to be fully reliant on something that's not in your control. Big
Mm-hmm.
shocker there.
Yep, exactly.
We'll get into why this is bad. Why we both think this is bad. What other people are saying is bad. I just want to quickly get into Amazon has workspace thin clients, which are $195 to $280. As people have torn these down, it's basically a repurposed Fire TV cube with a separate USB hub to allow peripherals to be plugged into it. And obviously, it's a locked ecosystem. You store nothing locally. All of it reaches out to Amazon services and is managed entirely by Amazon Web Services. So, now, get into why we think this is bad and terrible. Do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I already give them too much money. I'm sick of not owning things.
Yeah.
It would completely lock me into, say, Amazon. Or we would run into this stupid problem like what we have with streaming right now, where some games are over here, other games are over there, so then I just have to fucking purchase a bunch of subscriptions so that I can play all the games that I want to play. It's stupid. It's all stupid.
My counter argument to that is, do you buy movies?
No, but I also don't really watch movies.
I mean, fair, but I think we can both agree that most people don't buy movies nowadays. They all stream. Essentially, they borrow/rent on a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
And with rising memory prices, I see how the writing could be potentially on the wall for this type of service.
I want you to know that if this is what happens and if this is the only way to play games in the future, I want some kind of massive class action against every AI company because they created the problem and are now profiting off of it.
Oh, man. It's funny you say that. I did not pull it into this podcast because I thought it was a funny one-off, but I didn't have a place to put it. But I'll anyone can double check and fact check me, but I believe it was Microsoft's CEO that says everybody needs to start getting on board with AI while we morally can justify the usage, or else AI will go away, which just made me laugh. And I'm paraphrasing heavily, but basically the statement was, yeah, we use up a lot of energy and a lot of resources, and we need to start making breakthroughs with AI to justify it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a black hole.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Which all creative developments and inventions are a black hole, right? Every single one of them. TV, computing, every single one of them has been initially a black hole in some form. And then it becomes popularized, and then it becomes profitized.
I mean, you would hope eventually.
Right. Eventually. That's exactly the point.
I'm saving it to maybe get into on a later date, but there's reports of potentially OpenAI eventually running out of money.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm not surprised. That's exactly the problem.
A thing that comes down the line, which
because who has all the money?
Yeah.
Nvidia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the companies investing in it, but yeah, Nvidia is one of the leading peoples.
Exactly. Nvidia is the largest circle in the pile of circles. In the bubble of circles.
But I don't want to get too far deep into the AI rabbit hole here.
Yeah, fair.
More like, we all know the reasons why. I mean, one of the reasons obviously is the AI increase in hardware prices that this is also coming up now. Because, yeah, sure, 10 years of, let's say, a $15 prescription probably wouldn't ever equal the $4,000 to $5,000 that you would spend on your computer. So, like, I get it, but I think the biggest problem for me, especially when you compare it to music or TV shows, right? Because people stream their music and their TV shows and their movies.
Sure.
Is the interaction, right? And the level of fidelity that people strive for on their games as compared to a movie. Because if you're streaming a 4K movie that's shot in 24 frames, well, guess what? You only need to watch the 4K movie at 24 frames, which is going to be a lot less data and way less compression on those 24 frames than you're going to see on trying to stream let's just say the next Witcher game at 120 frames at 4K. Like,
right, at minimum.
Yeah. So is that does the infrastructure have the capability to handle that now?
No.
Is on a basic tier, are you going to give me that ability to stream
Not
it?
a chance.
I mean, the answer is obviously no. Yeah, no chance. So not only can you not handle the bandwidth, you can't handle the actual fidelity. Now, I know I'm going off of the high end. Not everybody plays at 4K, but even if we're going down to 1440p and you still want that 124 frames, that's still going to be a higher bandwidth than they're going to be willing to give you. And on top of that, we're just talking about single player games. Are you going to be able to stream League of Legends from a gaming streaming service and be super competitive? Are you going to be able to do your iframe dodges in Monster Hunter, whatever version you pick? Or are you going to get that pixel perfect head tap in Counter-Strike or Valorant by having that extra delay of having all of your information sent out, processed on the server, and then the actual display information come back to you?
Yeah. I mean, so I think that a lot of people don't realize how fast information is processed in our computers. Yeah. Right? So from the point that you make an action, right? You push a button on your keyboard. That generally has a 1 to 2 millisecond delay going into your PC. Then, depending on whether or not the game is client or server focused, then let's assume it's client focused, then that goes straight into the game, right? The game processes that information, aka your CPU and GPU process that information, and then it processes it and shows it to your computer screen, right? Which, depending on the quality of your monitor, can be anywhere from 5 to 1 milliseconds.
Yep.
Right?
And now, there is a delay when you're doing PvP, but the delay only comes from the fact that your computer is sending the small amount of data off to be double-checked on the server side, and then the server's confirming or denying. Like,
and the server is telling
all that's
you
happening.
Where the other people are.
Sure.
Yeah. Right? That's the extent of what is happening. It's just telling you positional data.
Mm-hmm.
In this scenario, what's actually happening is that every frame has to be sent to you.
Yep.
And it has to be sent over the internet, which is already going to create anywhere from a 20 to 100 millisecond delay, depending on how far you are from one of their data centers.
Yep.
Not to mention, if it is an online game, their data center to the actual company's data center, right? Which is another delay. Like for me, on the server that I play in WoW, I have a average of 24 millisecond delay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in total, I can expect that my average action, I can see it happen on my screen within 30 milliseconds, right? Yeah. Accounting for, peripheral delays, 30 milliseconds. There's no way you will ever be able to give me that in a game, in a streaming scenario, until we've gotten to the point of like Ready Player One.
Yeah. Well, the infrastructure would have to be 10 to 100 times better than it is now.
Yes.
To be able to make this feasible from a competitive gaming standpoint. So I'm meaning any co-op games that require, pixel perfect dodges, pixel frame or perfect frame dodges, and any sort of PvP games is specifically what I'm talking about. Single player games, a lot more forgiving. That's why streaming services already exist now for those types of games, because you could get away with it. I just don't see this happening, because I've ranted about it before, but what's one of the biggest games this year other than Clair Obscur is Arc Raiders. You think people are going to be... I mean, people were already complaining about the server delay issues that they were having. Now you're going to move that whole thing to server side? It's not going to go well. People aren't going to be happy. What about Battlefield? What about Call of Duty? And again, I already mentioned other competitive games, including, some Dota and all that kind of stuff. Like, people aren't going to be on board with that. You can't be as high level competitive as you can having the local PC.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. It's just, it's never going to happen. I mean, maybe not never, right? It doesn't have the chance of happening within the next 100 years.
I mean, I wouldn't say 100 years. Remember, the internet didn't exist 100 years ago.
Sure.
But I would argue that with the infrastructure and consumer technology that exists right now, that capability does not exist in the way that it needs to exist. So if you're talking about if you started today building out all that infrastructure for just the US, let's just say just to get the US on board, you're talking like a minimum of 15 years. Minimum.
But what kind of infrastructure? Because I don't even think that we have the infrastructure available currently, like the technology available currently that could get me down to 30 millisecond delay.
Yeah, but let me be clear here. I'm talking about building out the infrastructure for the entirety of the United States starting today, which is an impossibility. But if literally today you started putting in the best technology available to make those connections happen at the speeds that we wanted them to happen, then I would say you could be done in 15 years building it out. But I'm talking everywhere, doing it literally everywhere at the same time, getting it all done with all the plans already like being executed right now, which is just not feasible, not happening.
So you're talking basically just like putting fiber everywhere?
Putting fiber, updating data centers, relay stations, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like all of it. But it would have to be done right now.
Yeah, it's just not possible. The reason that I said 100 years is because of exactly that point, right? You said we'd have to upgrade the infrastructure into oblivion, effectively. Yeah. Well, the problem is that there are significant walls that telecommunications companies run into already to be able to upgrade their infrastructure, like namely cities and governments straight up not letting them.
You're not
so
wrong.
That's why I said 100 years, because they would first have to overthrow the government.
Look, if there's a will, there's a way. They'll fast track it. I think realistically you could see something, because 40 years from now is 2046, but so like by 2050 I think you could see something where it is feasibly as good as doing it locally as it would be on a data server by like 2050, 2070 is what I was going with.
I mean, just give me quantum computing by then.
Well, I mean, that would change quite a bit of the game, but
it would. Yes.
Alrighty. One of the other things that I think would be heavily affected that nobody would be happy about is it would basically kill the modding community as well.
True.
Like I mean, are you gonna mod a game that's hosted on Amazon servers?
I mean, so the only way that you could do that is if you basically paid for a subscription to have your own personal virtual desktop, right?
Bro,
Like we do that at work, right? We give personal desktops out to individual
have
people.
That ability.
Yeah,
exist.
exactly. So, and like, other people can access it technically, namely domain admins, but like it is just my personal virtual desktop, right? So you could do something like that.
I think no one's going to want you to be able to do that because you're talking about being able to modify potentially system files. And even on a virtual desktop, no companies are going to want to give you that access.
I mean, that's true. But honestly, I want to throw out a different point here.
Okay, go for it.
So we have talked about all the logistical problems so far. What about the safety concerns?
Yeah, you mean like people ingesting stuff to your portal device?
Yeah. You're giving hundreds of thousands of people access to your data center directly. They have a direct connection.
You're talking about with modding.
No, I'm talking about period.
Well,
just
I can't
this whole
imagine
streaming PC bullshit.
Well, yeah, I mean, but if you're streaming, you're only giving a set level of commands, right?
Sure.
Which I think is why one of the problems with modding comes from. Or just, I wanted to change this one specific setting that I can't do natively because I have an accessibility thing that I want to change.
Uh-huh.
Or like, hey, this game wasn't working well for me, so I changed this one thing. If you give them that access, I can absolutely see that. But if you're just talking about general inputs, right? Because the idea would be that you don't have the same computer here. The idea would be you pick a game and it loads up just that game.
Right. So similar to the way, like, it would effectively be an application.
Yeah.
Right. That you would have on some thin client that has like one core processor in it or some crap like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Enough
but I
to
think,
process.
Again, I still think that hits at the heart of the problem, though, is zero ability to choice to do anything unique, to modify it in the way you want. And if you're giving them that ability, then it comes back to your safety concerns, where you're now giving people the ability to do that within your data center. Like you're asking for trouble.
And not only that, so what about the fact that, like, I don't know about you, but like I have hard drives or USB sticks that have personal data on them.
Yeah.
Right? What are we going to do with any of that? Are we just going to upload it to Google Drive and call it a day?
That's what they want you to do.
Well, and to be clear, some of that stuff's on Google Drive, sure. Makes it easy to access.
I mean, I don't have my tax information there.
Correct. I do not have my tax information there. Right? Nothing that's not easily accessible to the public already.
Or that I don't want,
or at least to a company. Yeah, that too. So, yeah, it's not likely to happen anytime soon. Let's get into GeForce now.
Yeah, so speaking of streaming your games, GeForce Now is obviously a service that offers that. And I thought that this was an interesting kind of discussion here about taking your ability to do what you want away. Because starting January 1st, they changed their tiers a bit. So you got performance and ultimate tiers that are $99 monthly, $100 annually, and then $19 monthly and $200 annually. Which is basically your 1440p resolution tier, and then your like super high-end 4080 performance 4K tier. And they've restricted the amount of game time to 100 hours on that service.
Stupid.
So, yeah, but this is why I put this here. Because this was just kind of a small story that obviously happened 3 weeks ago. But there wasn't really a full reason to talk about it. But here we're talking about Jeff Bezos wanting for us to not have our own computers. And here's an example of what happens when you don't own your computers. Because I'll remind you that GeForce Now, unlike Game Pass, does not provide you games you don't own. This only gives you access to stream and play games that you already own on other platforms. So they're restricting your ability to play your games through streaming on their service that you pay for.
Yep.
This is the type of stuff that you get into. Now, they're not hard cutting you off. If you want to go over 100 hours, you can pay for it. You can pay $3 for 15-hour blocks on the lower tier or $6 for a 15-hour block on the higher tier.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
Reminds me of a couple of different things, but namely in the cell phone realm. Okay? First,
the data.
we had minutes.
Sure.
No, first we had minutes.
You're right.
Then we had message limits.
Well, actually, if you want to go back that far, first we had pages.
True.
Then we had minutes.
Then we had minutes. Then we had message points.
True.
Right? And now we have data. Right? So we have unlimited messaging, unlimited call.
No, you skipped a part there, because I know you said data as just like a general thing, but there was that time in between with flip phones where it was like data/online time.
Oh yeah.
Where it was like in the middle there before we kind of went full into BlackBerry smartphone, just straight data.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what that reminds me of.
It 100% is.
And I say this in a very, very concerned manner because those things, data nowadays, messaging, calling, those are things that are effectively determined to be required.
Yes.
Right? Tell me that you can live without being able to call somebody at a moment's notice. The answer is you really can't. Especially in today's modern age. So the problem is that, the government steps in, they say, nope, that's now a service. That's how it just has to be. You have to give them unlimited whatever, right? And that's generally what happens. But gaming is not that. Streaming is not that, right?
Yep.
That's why they haven't stepped in when it comes to streaming services, and they won't step in when it comes to gaming.
Especially gaming streaming until until everyone complains about it 40 years from now. But
yep.
I would point out, because you brought up the mobile phones, most people don't know this, but you cannot, without paying for it, do high resolution video streaming on your cell phone service. It's blocked. I don't know if you know this. It's limited to, at a base, 720p by default.
Really?
Yep. You can pay to have the higher tiers. And I think it's finally starting to roll over to be a 1080p default, but for the longest time it was a 720p default.
I kind of want to
No matter what you selected, it was throttled by your carrier's ISP. Well, your carrier being the ISP. Yeah. So it was forced no matter what you picked. So now imagine a world, which it's kind of not that hard to imagine, where PCs become too expensive. So most people can't actually afford to own a gaming PC. So these streaming services do take off and become big, making gaming PCs even less of a thing. What stops them from doing this type of stuff? Yeah, you don't need 4K gaming. You only need 1080p or 1440p game. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have the option unless you want to give us more money.
Yep.
Oh, what are you going to do? Go buy a local gaming PC for 10 grand? You're not going to do that. You're going to shut up and you're going to pay for our service.
Yep. Exactly.
This is why you can't give them that level of power, because no matter the good guys they are now, eventually that's what will happen.
Money corrupts.
Well, absolute power corrupts absolutely is what.
Yep,
that
too.
phrase.
But like specifically, money corrupts.
Well, money is power, right?
Yeah. True.
Now, to be fair here, just to kind of throw this out there was a grandfathered subscription cutoff, and you can roll over 15 hours if you don't use them. And they, say that 94% of their users use less than 100 hours, but that's not the point. You're specifically reducing it so that you save money and can charge the people who use more money. So,
Yeah.
let me ask you this, Heru, because I see in Steam that you've played 94 hours in the last 2 weeks. Now, some of that might be menu time, so, if we just drop off, let's say 15 hours and say you've played 80 hours in the last 2 weeks, okay? I know another game you've played recently is Oaken Tower. Do you have a general idea of how many hours you put into that for the couple weeks you were playing? Because that would bring you to a month, right?
I think it was 2 months ago for that one, but regardless, I want to say I put in like 80 hours.
I mean, let's just go with the 80 hours, right? And let's say 10 hours of that was menu time. That brings us to a nice even 150 hours, right? It's a nice even number that over the course of 2 weeks you put into the games. These last 2 weeks, you played that for 2 weeks. Let's say that all happened in 1 month. You played 150 hours of games.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying the $20 for the ultimate tier for the nicer quality because you're a man of substance. And to get that 50 extra hours, you're dropping another $18. You've basically doubled the price of it to play the games that you already own.
Not to mention the fact that I still have to pay for internet access and I still have to pay for power.
Yep.
I still have to pay for water to live.
And with GeForce Now, you still have to pay for those games too.
Yeah, exactly. So to play a game that I already own, I have to pay you more money. Yep. And we're not talking an MMO that's getting constant updates, right? We're talking about a service.
Yep.
It would be like if Netflix limited you to 100 hours a month.
Oh, man.
Fucking imagine.
That would be insane.
But honestly, I would say it's even worse.
I don't know if we can publish this now. I don't know if we can put this out there because I don't know if I want that idea drifting out in the world.
It would never happen.
Don't. Whoa! Stop it! Knock on wood somewhere. Jeez.
No, I refuse. Bring it on,
worry,
Netflix.
I did it for you. But yeah, to your point though, 2 games that you already own for a month of game time on internet service you pay for, you're dropping an extra $40 just to play the games that you bought on GeForce Now, if that was the case. And that's what Amazon wants? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No. Especially because, okay. Let's bring up the concept of a game that has a lot of min-maxing involved. Okay?
Sure.
So a game like World of Warcraft, or go deeper, a game like Path of Exiles, or Path of Exiles 2, right? So I can tell you right now that easily anywhere between 20 to 30 of the hours that I have played in Path of Exiles Path of Exiles 2 in the last 2 weeks, which is roughly around 86 hours, has been spent staring at my passives tree. 100% guaranteed.
Now that technically costs you money. You better be playing. Don't be looking.
Screw that. Absolutely screw that.
So, but I mean, between that and Oaken Tower, you own a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, though.
That's all I have to say about that. It's obnoxious, and I hate it.
Speaking of Oaken Tower,
okay,
you reminded me of the reason that I quit that game.
Oh,
and yeah. I mean, I lost interest, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you talked about it.
So let me ask the community a question here.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten so good at a game that you lost? And the way that I'm saying that is...
Hold on. Before your explanation.
Okay.
Have you gotten so good at a game that you lost?
Yes.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm gonna, like... Okay. Give me the explanation, because my mind is going in 1,000 different ways at this point.
Right. So, games are intended for enjoyment, right?
Okay.
If you're not enjoying the game, the best thing that you can do is put it down and play something else, right? That's the healthiest thing you can do.
Are you speaking to, like, League of Legends and Counter-Strike people right now? I feel like...
And World of Warcraft people.
Yeah,
and the WoW people, for sure. So Oaken Tower in particular, I got extremely high up when it comes to the, like, actual rating system in the game. Granted, it's not a hard game by any stretch. And initially, I was really enjoying all of the little ins and outs and whatnot of, like, the interactions between the items and stuff like that. Until I got to the point where I figured out how I couldn't be beaten. Right? And it was reroll until you get enough gold items, buy all the gold items, which do damage or have defenses, stack up gold into oblivion, reroll until you get what you want.
Yeah.
Right? So, context for the question, have you ever gotten so good at a game that you lost, is, have you ever gotten so good at a game that the game was no longer fun?
That the experience suffered because you were so good at the game?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think... I think I think you go two different ways. When the challenge becomes nil, stops existing, or when you become so good that the challenge rises so high that to stay at that level requires investment and effort.
Yes.
Because then it stops being a fun, and I'm not saying you can't still have fun, but it stops being a fun, carefree experience, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. It starts to feel a little more like a job.
Yeah.
Right? And to be clear, for all of us, WoW and Path of Exiles players out there that enjoy the min-maxing experience, sitting there staring at a passive tree for 4 hours trying to work on a build and min-max the hell out of it, that is fun for us, right? But
I mean, I'm not
some
judging.
people,
there's plenty of accountants that love their job.
That's true. That's very true. So, like, for some people, the min-max is the fun, right?
Yeah.
Doing as good as they possibly can, doing their rotation.
Break it.
Exactly. Whereas for some games, Counter-Strike, for example, right, or Valorant, Counter-Strike, anything in those realms, at a certain point, League of Legends, at a certain point, you plateau. And the only way to get better is to put in an astronomically larger amount of time than you were previously to excel.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I know in the past, you in particular have talked about your Counter-Strike experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not on here, but, like, personal life.
I'm sure we'll talk about that story again at some point.
Oh,
but yeah,
100%.
You got to a point where you're, like, literally having to hop online, do practices and warm-ups.
Yeah.
And, team practices and all that jazz.
Yep, exactly. So, again, I'll say the question one more time, guys. Send us a message, comment on the video, do something. Have you ever gotten so good at a game that you lost?
I mean, yeah. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear the stories. I think it'd be fun.
Me too.
Alrighty. Lay it on me.
In games that we're really good at.
Okay.
World of Warcraft. We talked about it at the very beginning. Okay, not me. Regardless. World of Warcraft had its midnight pre-patch release Tuesday, January 20th, right? And I had complaints about the length of it and so on and so forth, and plenty of people commented on a short that we put out there. But I want to be clear that the reason that I'm so upset with the midnight pre-patch thing is because of the situations around it, not the drought of content, not anything else regarding anything that Blizzard really has the control over, or, trying to force them along to go faster or whatever, right? A lot of the issue that I have is that this pre-patch released, and with it, what most people are referring to as the add-on apocalypse, right? So they basically completely redid their WoW API and made it to where you're no longer able to get as much information about your character from the WoW API, which means that a lot of add-ons simply don't function anymore. Namely, one extremely large add-on that was basically a platform to make additional tiny add-ons within it called weak auras. Okay? And stupid name, I know. But so with this, it nukes everybody's UI. At the high end, it nukes everyone's UI. At the middle to high end, it nukes everyone's UI. Right? And so a lot of the player base, especially in that mid to high tier range, are really focusing on the ability to get a new UI quickly, right? For a lot of people, they're still raiding. They're still going into Mythic Dimensius or Mythic whoever the hell, right? They're still trying to raid. And they're still trying to experience the game.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really experience the game if you don't have a good UI.
I mean, that's that's downfall of quite a few games.
Yep, exactly. So a lot of the issue that I have is that with this giant change, I have run into a lot of problems with trying to rebuild my UI. The baseline content available in the game is not sufficient for what I need, right? So the default UI, not good enough. First off, it doesn't have a separatable resource bar. So like if I'm focus, rage, mana, whatever the hell, right? You can't separate that from your health bar to center it in your screen in any way. So you're just like, yeah. So you're just like, okay, I just have to stare at my profile picture.
Deal with it.
Right?
Stare at
or
something that doesn't help you.
Right. Stare at my character's face with a giant ass health bar and a tiny mana or focus or energy or rage bar.
Okay.
Right?
I know how we change this.
Okay.
Let's go back to the 1999 Doom days, where the character profile picture actually got more bloody the more hurt they got. And that's now your health bar, is how bloody your character profile picture is.
Perfect. Love it. I'm sure there's an add-on that can do that.
Yeah, but is it against terms of service?
No. That's the most interesting part, is it's not. So the issue that I had over the last 2 days, so today and yesterday, trying to redesign my UI, because I'm not one of those people who just like takes a UI pack and slaps it on and calls it a day. I've designed my UI from the ground up for 4 to 5 years. In fact, I've helped design other people's UI for them, including Demis, Deaths, and numerous other friends of mine.
Do all of your friends have a name that starts with D?
No. Just the ones who have given me permission to say their name.
Fair enough.
So, like, what I ran into trying to find an add-on that allowed me to have a decent unit frames, an easily manageable resource bar, an improved management of the cooldown manager, different things like that, right? What I ended up running into was a hell of a lot of paywalls.
Ooh, that's no fun.
And here's the problem that I have with that. These paywalls, they're not coming from no-name people, right? They're not just like randomly put on a website somewhere. We're talking giant-ass streamers, huge, absolutely gigantic, like, race to world first players, right? So, like, we're talking about the best of the best, people who have very, like, they're not exactly invisible to the higher ups at Blizzard or to Blizzard as a whole, right?
They've got a big footprint. Correct.
Exactly. So now look, there are some things that I'm okay with being paid for. And frankly, I don't particularly care what anyone's opinion is when it comes to whether or not add-ons should require payments. Because at the end of the day, murder is illegal.
I did not expect you to go there.
So I don't care what other people's opinion are on murder, right? In this regard,
okay.
making an add-on, I know it's well, okay. So TOS is basically the laws of a game, right?
Got it. Oh, because it's already against TOS. Okay,
yes.
Okay. No,
we're getting there.
I was like, whoa, bro. I don't think you could just equate a UI to murder.
It's hilarious. So, no, like, the add-on development policy at Blizzard, the very first, like, point of the policy is add-ons must be free of charge. It's the first fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even talking about...
It's like, you know, and that we talked about it previously. That's because of copyright stuff. Like, if you have to protect your IP.
Now, look, it is unacceptable, in my opinion, for someone to paywall an add-on. People have started doing premium features to their add-ons. So, like, they release it to the whole public, but then they lock a lot of the important features behind a paywall. By the way, that's also technically against terms of service. It is within that first point.
So to add to your point, CD Projekt Red actually just issued a cease and desist to a modder that made a VR mod for Cyberpunk 2077, but we're charging for it.
Ooh.
It was like a $10 mod purchase, and they forced him to take it down because they were charging for it.
Yep. Cease and desist is where it starts. The next place is court.
Yep.
And you don't want to fight a big company. So the problem that I have in this scenario is not that these people who are putting in this time are looking for money, right? I'm fine with them trying to, benefit from whatever the hell they're doing. There are plenty of ways.
They put the labor and time into it.
They're putting in hard work, absolutely. So the thing is that you've designed an add-on for a game. You are not allowed to charge for that game. So what ways can you make money?
Up front, I think, is the difference here, right? This isn't something that was dropped on them later.
No,
it's like before you went on this endeavor, you knew that it's against terms of service to do this.
This has been in here since, I want to say, the beginning, but this particular post was posted in 2018. Right? 7 years ago. 8 years ago. Fuck, it's 2026. So, like, it's not new. This is not new in any way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't doubt if it has been like that for an extremely long period of time, and this was just a repost on their newer forums, which I want to say they redid in 2018. So, point is, you have put in the effort, or you've paid someone to put in the effort, depending on how it works. And people follow you, right? So you absolutely can benefit from that in some way. You're either benefiting from it in the fact that people want your UI, so they pay for the whole UI, right, as a pack. So it's effectively paying for a mixtape.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've jumbled together a bunch of these different things to make something that is functional or sounds good in the case of a mixtape.
Oh,
and
so a remix.
Yeah, kind of. And like it has a bunch of profile strings and stuff like that. And like the idea is that you'll install it after you've paid for it, and it will be your exact UI, right? It'll be identical to the other person's UI. I don't have a problem with that. However, every single one of the add-ons that are within that mixtape of add-ons need to be free.
Yep.
Right? That's my big deal.
I'm with you.
And frankly, I wish that Blizzard would crack down on this crap significantly. When I say that this isn't like, they're not small-time people, we're talking the guild that made, or that got Race to World First the last, I want to say 3 or 4 times, they're always in the running. Okay? They had a add-on that they were using in their streams that wasn't available to the public. That's fine. Okay? You don't have to make your add-on available to the public. You just can't charge for it. Right?
I mean, seems pretty straightforward to me.
That's the rule. So, biggest guild in the scene charging for an add-on.
And which guild is that?
Liquid.
Maybe they needed some liquid cash.
No, they don't. They're literally a part of an esports org. They have all the money they could want.
I agree with you. If the rules exist, then people should be abiding by the rules. And it's sad that it's not happening and that people are gaining off of it.
Yes, 100%. It's fine for you to benefit from the add-on in an indirect manner. However, you cannot benefit financially directly because of the add-on.
No.
So what a lot of people have started doing is they've started locking it behind like Patreon, right? So not even like the same thing as like, hey, you have to pay $10 like that VR thing you were talking about to get access to it. No, you have to pay a monthly subscription.
Oh.
So it's even worse. They're charging a monthly subscription for a game we already pay $15 a month to play.
Hey, dog, I heard you like subscriptions, so I added a subscription to your subscription.
Basically. I will say, I have, I think, a total of 3 subscriptions around World of Warcraft in some way.
Wow.
Right, so I have World of Warcraft itself. I have Raid Bots, which is a simulating platform, but it is outside of World of Warcraft, so it is allowed to be charged for, right?
Well, I mean, you don't put enough time into World of Warcraft, so I understand why you have to pay for it.
This guy. He's just trying to rage bait me.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never do it.
Rage bait me all the time. And then I technically pay the primary hunter creator. But I don't pay him for any of his shit. I literally pay him for his knowledge. Right? I don't pay for his UI because that's free. They like the add-on is free. His specific profile string and profile pack, like the mixtape, is not free. You do require the Patreon for it. But the add-on that he had one of his friends design for them is free. So, like, I don't have any issues here with that. Now, if this also pisses you off, there is an email that I have recently discovered that Blizzard has. That email is wowui@battle.net.
And if someone is so inclined to express their displeasure.
Yep. Specifically, if you send a blank email or test email to that account, it will give you an automated response. That automated response specifically reads, hold please, I'm finding it. Thank you for your email, blah, 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 blah. This mailbox is used to submit feedback about the WoW UI add-on development policy and report add-ons that currently violate the add-on policy. Send the emails, brothers.
Man, seems like they didn't need all the blah, blah, blahs. They could have just said that right from the beginning.
I mean, they probably could have, yeah. But, there's like professional blah, blah, blah courtesy.
Yeah.
It's kind of necessary.
But yeah,
I get
professional blah, blah, blah versus blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people get your emails out there. And hey, you know what? Maybe you love it. Maybe you're the person that built it. You don't have to send your email. But everybody else who has a problem, you should definitely follow up. Because nothing changes if you don't make your voice heard.
And personally, if you do charge for an add-on, I hope you get permabanned.
Wow. You know how that would affect them?
It wouldn't.
Well, it might affect their business or economy. Alrighty, let's go on to the next segment.
Oh, man.
All right, business and econ. We're always in over our head. Did you see the end-of-life GPU announcement this past week?
No.
Yeah, well, Asus had a whole PR incident as they scared the crap out of everybody by making them think that a lot of cards, specifically the TI version of NVIDIA cards, were going end of life. And this came from Asus PR informing Hardware Unboxed about samples that they were reviewing. So this was not some random dude on the internet. This was like all reputable places and sources.
Yeah.
So, Hardware Unbox was like, whoa, reached back out to major retailers to confirm whether or not this was happening. And essentially, what was happening is these TI versions have become so unavailable that the devices that they're going into are basically going end of life because they can't supply them. And to be clear here, we got to this point after like 48 hours after NVIDIA had to clarify that all the TI SKUs are staying in production, and Asus walked it back and clarified that the EOL claim was specific SKUs that included TI devices because the supply was so low that they couldn't continue manufacturing the devices that included the TI cards.
That also means that they can't support them. Right?
Yes.
If they can't continue manufacturing their cards, it means that they are unable to provide you with a replacement.
Now, to be clear here, NVIDIA is still manufacturing the cards. It's just that the supply is so low that they can't be guaranteed to be shipped with like a pre-built or a laptop or yada, 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 take your pick. Yeah. So the end of life is specifically about the devices that those cards are included in, not the cards themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense. But even then, like it still comes down to the same problem, right?
True.
If you purchased a piece of equipment and it dies within its warranty, and the company says, hey, you're shit out of luck because we don't have the parts to be able to replace it. I mean, the person who actually loses in that scenario is the company, because they will have to upgrade you to the next highest available thing.
Yeah, if it's end of life, for sure. Well,
right?
sorry, if it's under warranty, for sure.
Yeah, if it's still under warranty, but they did like an early end of life thing because they can't, reasonably source the product, that's not on the consumer, that's on them.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, I don't know. Get it together.
Yeah, they should get it together. Yeah, MSI and Gigabyte basically confirmed that they are shifting priority to maintain their lineup based off the percentage of cards that are being produced to handle the shortage. And if you were like, ha ha ha, I'm an AMD fan, this type of thing doesn't affect me. Well, I got news for you, buddy. It affects everybody. Because AMD is facing a similar type of shortage, because obviously memory is a shortage everyone's dealing with. So the focus for AMD is supposedly shifting from XT or towards the XT version over the standard version.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, and I saw your rage bait. I want to clarify, I am not an AMD fan when it comes to their GPUs. I am just a very anti-NVIDIA fan.
I wasn't directed at just you. I was just pointing out to all the people out there
sure, bud.
that everybody basically is getting the middle finger.
Sure, bud. I totally believe you.
But yeah, so basically any cards that are high memory cards that aren't a standard model, so like the 4080 isn't being affected. You're looking at basically the standard AMD card, the TI versions of NVIDIA cards, because they have upgraded, depending on laptop versus desktop, you're talking 12 or 16 gigabytes of memory over the regular 8. Oh god, 8 is the standard. We're still gonna have 8 as the standard this day and age. Anyways,
it's like having 1080p as the standard still.
Dude, so obnoxious. I refuse to channel my inner Bezos. Anyways, this does unfortunately affect a lot of people. It's gonna suck for a long time, and it's already caused the 5070 Ti to go from its MSRP of like 7 to 850-ish, depending on the OC model, to like $1,100 and $1,300, which I don't understand why, because a 5080 is like $1,100 to $1,300. So why anyone would ever buy a 5070 at that price is insane.
There's no way that the 5080 is still that same price, though.
I don't know how for long. I looked at Micro Center the other day, and they were still at like the $1,200 to $1,300 range.
I just pulled up a single one on Newegg, $1,800.
Yeah, but it's Newegg. Is that from some random person? Go to Micro Center. I'm telling you, go to Micro Center.
Newegg Select.
I mean, okay, then maybe they're up to $1,800 too, as far as I know. I mean, I had someone the other day that I commented on this exact same conversation in reverse, where they're like, you could still get memory for under $600 for 64 gigs. And I had to be like, absolutely not, bro. I've looked every day for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's not happening, bud.
No. Also, basically, if it wasn't obvious up front, every 50 series that would have a Super On moniker on it has been indefinitely delayed.
Oh, weird.
Well. Yeah.
Again, you caused this problem. Yeah, no, I'm looking at Micro Center. The cheapest one is $1,500.
I mean, there you go. So they've gone up as well. But I mean, why not save that $200 and just get yourself a 4080? You're already spending $1,300, right?
Yes, you absolutely are. I mean, honestly, anybody who buys one right now is insane.
We've come from a 3090 that I was like, oh god, I don't know if I can afford this $1,350 card for this 3090. I don't really need it, but you know what? I'm gonna splurge. And now we're sitting on a 5070 Ti being $1,300 and a 5090 being $4 fucking grand. Oh, man.
I'm good.
Hey, yeah, well, you can get GeForce Now. It's
They this is actually insane because you connected that dot. They shouldn't even be fucking allowed to sell these cards at that price. They're the problem.
Yep. I mean, this is why I don't care what your opinion is. Everybody needs to be cheering right now for Intel and AMD. Now, again, AMD's, doing their own thing as well, but you got to have the competition in the market. We need those companies to succeed. Otherwise, we are all screwed.
Oh yeah, 100%. But no, like when I specifically say this, like I'm talking, you should not be able to create an artificial shortage and then profit from it.
I am curious if NVIDIA is actually partnering or profiting from it. Now, hear me out, because we've already talked about previously how they're not delivering memory anymore, right? So
Sure.
they're pushing that cost onto the board partners. So
Right.
are they selling the dies
For the same
at
price,
the
probably.
same price?
Almost guaranteed.
So, I mean, I was like, I don't know if they're actually profiting from this, but either way, it feels bad, sounds bad, is bad.
Yeah, I mean, it is bad. It is absolutely terrible. I mean, what do you mean? There's a never mind. That's sold out. Every 5090 is sold out at Micro Center. That's funny.
I bet they're not getting many in.
Oh, just kidding.
I mean,
Here's
if
one.
I'm Micro Center, I'm not buying 5090s at $4,000 a pop. You know how hard that is going to be to move that stock?
And do you know how much?
I might buy one or two just to have one or two on the shelf for the one person that comes in and is like, I want to spend that much money.
Yeah, they have 5, and it's specifically a MSI liquid cooled version.
That's just because that hasn't sold. they had that before everything went down, I would bet, and it just hasn't sold.
for 3,200? Yeah, probably.
Oh man, ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah, especially because it hasn't gone up. So I bet that they purchased that so they can still sell it at that price. So what I'm hearing is that I need to go buy that liquid cooled one before, so I can.
Yeah, buy the liquid cooled one, and then flip it for like 4,500 when there's inevitably none
Here's
available.
what I can do: buy the liquid cooled one because clearly people don't want to deal with that, right? Then I'll go buy a broken one where the fan and cooling chassis still works, and I'll put it. I'll match the working card with the cooling chassis and sell it for $4,500.
Insane.
All right, I think that's enough discussion about that ridiculousness. But let's get into some more AMD news in Shop Class. Alrighty. I know no one's driving here, but we're still going to talk about a few burnout incidents. Specifically dealing with, you can't see it, but Heru is rubbing his temples right now. Anyways, specifically Asus being in the doghouse again. This is not, I don't see this actually on AMD, and we'll get into why, but it looks like it's more along the lines of picking up a cheap part with low tolerances. So, multiple users over the last week have reported that their 9800 X3D processors, which is a flagship processor, failing shortly after installation, with a bunch of reports coming within a 24-hour window. Specifically, a lot of them tied to Asus ROG X870E boards, which is a higher-end board. Although there were a few other manufacturers in there that I did saw, although I don't have them mentioned here. And the physical symptoms that people were seeing were actual burn marks on the gold contact pads in the CPU. Which is wild.
That is wild.
Yep. So you would also see corresponding heat damage and charred pins on the AM5 socket on the board itself. And then physical deformation of the socket's plastic frame in some instances. So basically, as this kind of was discovered and people were investigating it and others started coming forward, Gamers Nexus, which thank goodness for Gamers Nexus, they do always do a lot of great in-depth reporting and analysis. I love their channel. Go give them some love if you haven't seen or heard or watched any of them. And they, through some testing, determined that it's probably most likely a specific socket / protector frame manufactured by Teledyne / Lots, used on mostly Asus boards, but some other ones that have lower tolerances, allowing the CPU to not be perfectly seated, even with the retention arm fully closed. So what that means is that the CPU is going to be slightly misaligned in the out-of-spec socket, and the pins making poor contact can lead to electrical arcing, which obviously causes the burn issues that are being seen.
Yep.
Oh, man. Like, does Asus replace the CPUs? I mean, obviously the answer is they should.
Honestly, yeah, Asus should. Yes, I thought you said AMD.
No, Asus.
So Asus should replace it and then push that cost onto Teledyne.
Correct. But from the consumer perspective, Asus should be taking care of the consumer, replacing those CPUs along with the new board. They should just send them the package with the CPU already installed and go from there, and then reach back out to this company that was causing problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is different than what was happening with 7800 X3D burnout issues caused by SoC voltage burnout from the BIOS settings. So just a heads up. Man. No one's fully admitted fault yet.
Of course
Asus has indicated that they are investigating, and AMD has confirmed that they are aware of the reports and are coordinating with motherboard partners to ensure proper installation guidelines are being met. So,
very interesting.
So, if you're getting a new board with a 9800 X3D, just make sure even if you lock the retention bar, make sure your CPU feels stiff and is sitting flat in the socket before you do anything else.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I know a lot of times I've just been like, arrow matches, cool, done. Oh, it closes.
Honestly, same. Yeah, I wouldn't have even thought to look.
Nope.
Like I might have noticed when I go to put on like my AIO.
I mean, I don't even know then, unless like the AIO sliding around because you're hooking it in and tight ratcheting it down, right? Right.
What I'm saying is like I'm specifically focusing on that area post install. So like there's a chance that
that's fair.
that I might spot it then.
I feel pretty safe because I actually put a phase change sheet on my CPU.
Mm-hmm.
And so I won't get into it now because there's a discussion I want to have at a later course, but like you have to physically kind of touch it a little bit while you're putting that on.
Yep.
So I never noticed anything. I feel like I'm pretty good. We'll see though. Alrighty. Enough of dying CPUs. Let's talk about a dying game in lab work. Alright, in lab work where we analyze some of the releases that have come out. We're, as I mentioned earlier, going to continue to beat on the dead horse that is Monster Hunter Wilds, as they have gone to a new level where they have moved from trying to get people to play their game to getting people to pay to play their game at a high level of performance on their computer.
I saw news of this. And obviously, like the Monster Hunter space in general comes through my feed pretty regularly, but this was funny.
When I saw this, I was like, oh, and I was like, I had to send it to you like as soon as I saw it, because I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
But now, to be clear here for everybody listening, they are not legitimately charging for performance. Every indication makes this issue look like it was unintended.
Sure.
So, let's get into it. On January 14th, a Reddit user by the name of DE Timerande, who also helped Capcom fix CPU issues in Dragon's Dogma 2, posted an investigation which kind of made some ripples. The accusation at the time, which would be confirmed later, they were noticing massive performance discrepancies between two Steam accounts. One that had no DLC purchased and or installed, and another one that had all the DLC purchases, with a drastic difference in FPS between the two titles. One that should not be accounted for from the because it was on the same, as far as I understand it, on the same hardware with two different accounts. So obviously people went to what we've been joking about, which is Capcom is lowering performance of the game if you don't own the DLCs, trying to get people to buy the DLCs.
It's just stupid.
What? Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. If they were ballsy enough to do that legitimately, I would have had to respect them wearing their heart on their sleeve. I mean, it would have been a rotten black heart, but I could have at least respected them for going, yeah, this is what we're doing. Deal with it. Like, this is how we're gonna get our money.
That would have gotten slapped so hard, so fast.
You're not wrong.
Like, Wilds has already been review bombed into oblivion, and the fact that it's still only sitting at a 67% positive on Steam, you would not even be able to be above like 40% if you came out and said that for real.
Oh, dude, it would go down so far. It would be so bad. Do you want to explain what actually happened, or do you want me to explain?
Yeah, I can go for it.
All right.
So, let's explain a little bit of what the bug actually is. So, the reason that this happens is that there is some very aggressive polling where the game is constantly checking over and over and over and over again to see whether or not you had any of the roughly 190 DLCs. And when I say over and over and over and over again, I'm talking thousands of times per minute.
Yep.
That's insane. Like, what? Why? Who designs this like that? First off,
and why does it have to check every item too? Is I don't understand.
I'm fine with it checking every item, but it should check on maybe a loading screen, right?
Sure.
If you want to check more frequently than, just when you launch the game, check on, an actual loading screen just once. Just once.
Yeah, but the thing I don't get is why does it have to check some of the cosmetics and stuff, right? You either have it or you don't.
Because a lot of people in the past have tried to mod those in.
Oh, so they're trying to... Okay.
And there have been ways in the past to be able to make the game believe that you have all of those cosmetics and make them usable for you, even though you have not actually paid for them.
They're basically... It's
literally DRM. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's an excessively aggressive DRM. And having this knowledge come out makes so much more sense why it ran perfectly fine on console. Because they probably don't have this same DRM on the console version.
That's fair.
Because it's a closed platform.
Yeah. Well, nowadays you could still mod it, but way less likely. Likely.
I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, effectively what ended up happening is that it would just hammer your CPU constantly, but especially when you're in the hub areas, and specifically when you're near the support desk feline, which is the little cat that you can go to purchase friggin' DLCs and crap. I don't know why you need to check more often while I'm next to him, but okay. Like, the
Maybe
cat
there's
is
something he sells or something. I don't know.
the cat is literally just hitting your CPU with a hammer. That's what he's doing. In fact, if Capcom memed on it and actually created something like that, it'd be hilarious.
It would be pretty funny, I'm not going to lie.
So ultimately what ends up happening is that if you don't own the DLC, then it enters into a heavy routine, quote unquote, to verify the license from the server. However, if you do own it, the check just resolves instantly, skipping the resource-heavy verification loop, which is why owning the content actually fixes the frame rate, which is insane.
That just, it kind of blows my mind, to be honest.
Apparently, contrary to the initial panic, the bug does not significantly affect the actual hunts in the open world, as the DLC-related NPCs and their specific polling routines are not active during combat. That makes so much more sense. I would have better frame rate while I'm actively engaged with a monster than I would afterwards. Like when it runs away or when it drops combat, I just see my fucking frames just tank.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm like,
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, now you know why.
Capcom, back that. Maybe I'll put more than 40 hours into your game.
Now, Digital Foundry and Hardware Unboxed did a lot of testing for this, so a lot of this information comes from them, so also give them some love. But like, you were literally seeing 25% increases on certain hardwares. Even on high-end hardware, you were seeing like 10%-ish increases by fixing this type of issue. It's just kind of ridiculous. Someone who did a bit of a test actually saw that in a 1-minute window near one of the DLC NPCs, he recorded over 6,000 checks, causing the massive CPU spike.
Gag. Capcom, did you let an intern design this frickin' routine?
Yeah.
Like,
check, you don't have it,
crap.
check again. Check, you don't have it, check again. Check, you don't have it, check again.
Right. Like, let's check that you don't have it. Okay, now let's check that you didn't just accidentally misplace it somewhere. And then now let's also check to make sure that you're not hiding it underneath your bed so that we can't find it.
Yep.
That's basically what's happening.
Oh man.
I
might have hidden it under the cat again, along with the $10 billion from the other week.
Oh man.
Oh man. Capcom did acknowledge that they were investigating. There is an upcoming patch for the 27th that is supposed to optimize Steam specific processes and reduce processing load, so that might be this. There is also a broader stability update scheduled for February 18th, so maybe it comes then, but my guess would be the 27th. And of course, there are community checks available out there, or community mods available out there to also fix this problem, assuming you aren't streaming the game and you own it on your own computer hardware and can mod that type of thing to fix problems.
Yep, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the quote-unquote upcoming patch that is specifically promising to optimize Steam-specific processes and reduce processing load, I'll believe it when I see it. That's the reality. I still occasionally relaunch the benchmark tool just to see if my game has done any better. If I can get to like 90 FPS in one of those benchmark runs, I'll probably play the fucking game.
Hey, one day, Heru, one day. And that one day will come when you upgrade to the next card in 2 to 3 years when they're available.
2 to 3 years? You kidding me? In 2 to 3 years, they'll be like $7,000.
No. They'll come back down by that point. The bubble will burst.
It better.
God, we can only hope. All right, let's move out of lab work. We'll move into some respectful discussions about some industry legends in gaming history. All right, Heru. Time to fill that brain hole with some history. Because who doesn't love some reminiscing? And this week, we have some somber information. All those Nintendo fans out there, I must inform you that Bowser is taking a step back and will be stepping down from his role. You know who Bowser is, Heru?
Yes. Of course I do. I mean, I shit on Nintendo enough that you think I have to at least know some things.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you who don't know, famously, not infamously, I would say famously, Nintendo of America's COO was named Doug Bowser, which, I mean, could you have picked a more perfect person to be in a high-level position at Nintendo? True. I mean, he seemed pretty competent for the job as well. But anyways, this was at the end of the year after he served a decade with the company. He joined in 2015 as vice president of sales before succeeding the iconic Reggie Fils-Aimé as president in April of 2019. Under his leadership, Nintendo expanded significantly into multimedia, physical experiences, and oversaw the launch of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which was very successful for them. He was at the peak of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, including the launch of the OLED, and his final statement highlighted his lifelong connection to the brand, which began with playing Donkey Kong in arcades in his college years.
I mean, Donkey Kong was a fun game.
Yeah.
If it was on anything other than Nintendo, I'd play it.
And if this is like the OG arcade version with the barrels going side to side down, this also technically would have been before there was a Bowser that was actually like canon and widely known for people as well.
True. You think he changed his last name?
I don't think so, but that would be awesome. I mean, could you imagine changing your last name to an iconic character to kind of ensure you get your foot in the door?
Yes.
Kind of a mad genius, I'm not going to lie.
I honestly absolutely could.
All right. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, the next person in charge is going to be Devon Pritchard. As of January 1st, has taken over. She will be the first woman to hold the title in the subsidiary's 45-year history. She is a 20-year veteran. So unlike Bowser, she did not come from outside the company, but came from within inside the company. Unfortunately for you, Heru, she joined the legal department in 2006. So you now have one of Nintendo's infamous lawyers as in a much higher leadership position in Nintendo of America. So I'm sure that nothing will be negative about that. I'm sure she'll have a fine tenure.
Come at me, Devon.
Yeah. No, I mean...
About Bowser.
Uh-huh.
Real quick.
Okay.
Do you know why he left?
Oh, why did he leave?
He joined the board at Hasbro.
Oh. Interesting.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see some Hasbro tie-in toys.
I don't know if this was he left and then like already had that lined up, or if he...
I would bet he left and had it lined up.
Almost guaranteed.
Because usually board of directors is a less involved position.
Yeah.
So that's something you usually move into to be less busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, no one really wants to be a COO forever, right? You just want to make the big bucks for a little while and then move on.
I mean, you still get paid a decent amount to be a board of directors.
Don't I know it?
Alrighty. We'll move on, unless you have anything to comment about Bowser. We'll move on to showing some respect for an industry legend, David Rosen, which I'm sure a lot of people don't actually know the name of. He passed away on Christmas of this year. He was born in 1930, passed away at the age of 95. He was one of the original co-founders of Sega. So,
Damn.
definitely someone who impacted the gaming industry heavily. He was born in Brooklyn. He actually enlisted in the U.S. Air Force and served during the Korean War. Post-war, he actually was... So apologies, as I was kind of reading too far ahead. Following his service, he kind of recognized the up-and-coming kind of Japanese market, and the post-war rebuilding was leading to a lot of opportunities in Japan. So he actually stayed in Tokyo as opposed to returning to New York after the war. His first business in 1954, he founded Rosen Enterprises, which initially exported Japanese art to the U.S. market. The Photorama innovation, which launched a chain of instant photo booths known as Ninfun Shanshin, or 2-minute photo, which I'm sure I butchered that, to meet high demand for ID photos in post-war Japan. And he had 100 locations nationwide in Japan. And then he pivoted to amusements in 1957, where he leveraged those photo booth locations to introduce American coin-operated amusement machines in Japan. Which you can kind of see here that he's kind of at the forefront for a lot of things, all in Japan. So in 1965, the merger between Rosen Enterprises and Nihon Goraku Busan, a company known for its brand as Service Games. Can you guess where this is going, Heru?
Yep.
Obviously, the name Sega was a combination of the first 2 letters of Service Games, and Rosen became the chairman and CEO of that newly formed enterprise. And he co-founded on top of that, he co-founded the Japanese Amusement Association in 1967. I mean, this guy's clearly been involved in a lot of things here. I mean, photo booths are still a big thing around, especially Japan, but around the world in general. Introducing arcade machines into Japan in 1957 is wild.
So, to summarize what you've gone over so far, this guy took Japanese culture and imported it into Japan, or into America.
Yep.
And then took American culture and imported it into Japan.
Yes, he did.
He meshed. He's the reason we have anime nerds.
And video game nerds.
And video
right?
game
Because
nerds.
without Nintendo, the US gaming market dies, right?
Yeah.
And so not even regarding Sega, but with the arcade machines, you could argue that his influence in Japan outside of Sega also helped save gaming as a whole.
Yeah, that's true. Man, our lives would be so boring. Actually, there's a higher chance that we would have actually done something with our lives.
I mean, fair. He did come back in the 1960s to serve as the U.S. side of Sega. And he was responsible for hiring Hayao Nakayama, who later became the president during the 1980s and 90s, which would have been the heyday of Sega as well. So, I mean, this guy had his hands in everything.
Yeah, he really did.
So, he also personally rebranded the Mega Drive as the Genesis. So...
The Mega Drive.
Yep. He retired in 1986.
Know it was called that.
What's that?
I didn't even know it was called that.
What? You didn't know? Genesis was right on the top of it. I knew a neighbor that had it, and I'd go over to his house and we'd play it.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, you didn't own every console. You owned one, somebody else owned the other, and then you would change and switch houses to go play the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I knew the Genesis existed. I played it when I was younger. I didn't know that the Mega Drive existed. Like I didn't know it was called that beforehand.
That's fair. But yeah, so he passed away. All condolences to his family. Thanks for all the influence that you wielded and combining essentially or exposing both U.S. culture to Japanese culture and Japanese culture to American culture and being a pillar in the video game industry for a long time. So
thank you for making me a weeb.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. How ironic is it that you can directly connect an American for being the reason that weebs exist?
Yes. It is insane. Like, what?
Oh, man. Well, all respect to him and his family. May he rest in peace. But I don't think I have any more comments on that. All right. I think that's all we have for today. Alrighty, people. Pack those books and close those close those books. Pack those packs. That's the right phrase. That's all we have time for today. And remember, let us know what game you got so good at that you lost. Whatever it was. Maybe it was something that the light in your eye every time you played it drifted away, or or maybe you got so good that one day when you lost it all because you were out on an expedition and weren't paying attention, everything went by the wayside and someone took all your gear and you chucked your controller across the room and it shattered. Let us know whatever time you were so good at a game that you lost. We hope you enjoy your time off. And we look forward to your participation the next time.
See ya.